Today we're going to introduce quadratic equations. Standard form for a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a cannot be 0. If a were 0, we'd have bx plus c equals 0, and this is a linear equation. The reason this one's quadratic, the top one, is because we have a square. The parent function for a quadratic equation is y equals x squared. You need to know that the shape is a U shape. It is not a V, it is a U. It starts at 0, 0 and moves up from there. It's going left and right. The vertex is always at the maximum or minimum depending on which way the parabola is facing. If the parabola is facing down, it has a maximum. If the parabola is facing up, it has a minimum. And the formula for this is x equals the opposite of b divided by 2a. The value of a in the equation determines which way the parabola opens. So if a is positive, the parabola has a minimum, and if a is negative, the parabola has a maximum. Now, the y-intercept is always the c value of the quadratic equation. So in this equation, the c value is 2, so our y-intercept is 0, 2. There's always a line of symmetry that goes through the vertex, so any point you have on one side of the parabola is going to be mirrored on the other side. The x-intercepts are always equal distance from the line of symmetry, so that's a great way to check when you're plotting them to make sure that they are both equal distance from the line of symmetry. So for sketching a graph of a quadratic or a parabola, you always need a vertex and the axis of symmetry, the y-intercept and its twin because of the axis of symmetry, and the x-intercepts. So let's practice with y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. So if I use my vertex formula and plug in the opposite of b divided by 2a, I would get 2 divided by 2 times 1, which is just 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Now that's my x value, so I have to plug it back into my formula to figure out what my y value is. So everywhere I see an x, I plug in my x value, and I simplify that and get negative 9. So the next thing you want to do is graph that point, 1, negative 9. Then we want to find my y-intercept. Well, since c is negative 8, we're going to graph the point 0, negative 8. And then we're going to find its twin using the axis of symmetry. There's my axis of symmetry, so the twin is equidistant from that. Right there. Now, to find the x-intercepts, later we're going to factor or use the quadratic formula. This one factors into y equals x minus 4 and x plus 2. We set both of those equal to 0 and solve for x. So x equals 4 and x equals negative 2. So we plot these points, 4, 0 and negative 2, 0. And that gives us a parabola. There are many more points on the parabola, and you can use a table and find these points as well. If you wanted to find some of the points in between, you could do that. But these are sufficient to create a sketch of the parabola. So just to review, for the vertex, you need the maximum and the minimum. You need to know about the y-intercept and where to find that in the equation, and how to find x-intercepts. And we will do that by using the quadratic formula or by factoring. So if you have questions, write them down. Make sure you took notes over the video, and remember to answer the questions that come after the video.